We moved to Warner Robins in 2013. When we got here, we were not going to church. So I grew up in a home that didn't believe in God. And currently, to this day, my family are non-believers. So that brings its own challenges. And Adam?
Just a little bit of a different story for me. I grew up in a family of my mom and dad loved one another, Christian home. So I was raised in the church, literally Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night service. So I was constantly in church, but a little bit different perspective for me because when I was around 15 years old, I decided that I really didn't want to have anything to do with the church. I didn't really want to have anything to do with God. So my path went a little bit different. Just got mixed up and involved in some things that, weren't good for me. And so coming to 2013, when we moved here, I had a lot of baggage, a lot of things that I was carrying around. But that's kind of really where our story starts, is 2013.
Yeah, we decided to, actually 2 weeks after we moved here, we decided to go to church. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was asking us, what church do you go to? So I just thought, let's just do this. So that Sunday was the first Sunday we had decided to go to church, and it was early in the morning, and I had a 14-month-old and I had a 3-year-old at the time, and it was breakfast, and my 14-month-old was just kind of fussy like he always was. We took him in the bedroom with us, and we were right next to him the whole time, but it was a beautiful April morning, and the window was open, and he put his hand on the window and fell out of the second-story window right in front of our eyes. And it was, it's hard to explain exactly what that was like as a mom, and of course as a dad, it just didn't even register until, he started running down the stairs, and it was just a lot. We were carted to Macon. They shut down the 75 for us, and really thought that when we entered in there that they were going to have to pronounce him dead. But the miraculous story is that we walked out of the hospital that night. He had absolutely not a single thing wrong with him at all. A few scrapes and bruises, but he was just the happiest 14-month-old. And at the time, we just didn't really know what to think about it. And so we continued to go on a journey of trying to find a church, and we ended up finding a church that was just completely instrumental to our faith. That's where I got saved. That's where we were both baptized. And the people there just discipled us. But it was in that moment and in that church that our friends came alongside of us and really helped us to understand that God saved our family, not just our son, but our family, and really brought to life, that when we are still sinners, God loved us. So he saved our families even when we didn't know him. And that was the beginning of our story. But I think for Adam, it was also just the beginning of his healing. Yeah,
and like I had mentioned before, like the things that I had done in my past up until that point, I kept everything hidden. It was down, and I felt like, as long as I'm not going after God, as long as I'm not seeking after him, I don't have to deal with any of this stuff. But what had happened is all that stuff festered, and it was just a big mess that was inside of me, just darkness and just all this sinful nature that I lived out for such a long time. And like Lindsay said, it's hard for me not to get I get chills even thinking about it now. And I told you I would probably be the one that cries. But that's the goodness of God. What was intended for evil worked out for good, and it all goes to his glory. And I'm amazed each and every day because I get to look my son in the eyes, and it's a blessing to see not only that God saved him, but that he saved all of us. So through all of that, God took something that could have been turned out incredibly terrible and horrible. And at that point, neither of us walking with the Lord, who knows what that would have looked like. But he used it, and like Lindsay said, now our whole entire family's saved. We're a yes family. Like, we put it all on the table, and we said, yes, God, we're going to follow after you.
when we came to Shirley Hills, the first way we got plugged in was to join a D group, and that was big for us because this is one of the best D groups that we've ever been a part of. It was filled with people that we had kind of knew, but also new people, and it's a great place to get deeper into the Word, to talk about the sermon again, and then to pray for each other and encourage each other. And it's a place where we can love others.
And we're doing life together.
Yeah. And that's what we're here to do, is to love others, but also grow together in the Word. And I think when you are with a D group who allows you to do that, then when you put the yes on the table, that means you're sent. That means that you can now go out there and you feel encouraged to do it, and you feel like you can. And if for some reason you make a mistake, then you have that D group to kind of build you back up again. But that's a great place to get plugged in and to just really live out the mission of what Shirley Hills is, which is the love, grow, send.
Yeah, and you see that, and we see that as part of our D group as well. I mean, we have some people that weren't even going to Shirley Hills, that we had people that were in our D group that invited these people to come, hey, why don't you come check out our D group and get plugged in? And I think those folks are now going to church here at Shirley Hills. So it's just cool to see that happen, when you live that kind of style,
And I think that gave us the encouragement to serve in other areas, such as greeting. And I think also just at Wow Bazaar, we decided to do that for the first time. And I think just having people in our D group just encourage us and tell us, hey, they're looking for people, and having kids involved in that really led us to feel confident that we could do it, even though, we might not feel qualified, but the people we've surrounded ourselves with here have helped us to feel like we can do that, and God's going to use us however He sees fit.